Question number 3, Keith Brown.
To ask the Scottish Government what discussions it had with the UK Government regarding the potential impact of net zero policy in Scotland ahead of the announcement by the UK Government of its decision to delay key net zero targets.
Cabinet Secretary Màiri McAllan.
Presiding Officer, despite the far-reaching implications of the announcement and that delivery of climate ambitions generally across the 4 nations of the UK is linked, the Scottish Government was given absolutely no notice of the Prime Minister's announcement, which was extremely disappointing and more disappointing given I was in attendance at an interministerial group meeting on net zero with UK ministers and the Committee on Climate Change just 6 days before the UK Prime Minister's announcement. The decision to renege on the UK's key net zero commitments is an unforgivable betrayal of current and future generations. But the SNP will continue to lead on climate action, Presiding Officer, and we will insulate Scotland from repeated failures of UK governments.
Keith Brown.
Can I thank the Cabinet Secretary for her answer? And given the undoubted detrimental impact these decisions will have on Scotland's ability to meet its net zero targets, does she agree with me that this complete lack of consultation or respect in the approach from the UK Government exposes the utter hypocrisy of the Tories and their calls for the Scottish Government to work, and I quote directly from Donald Cameron's amendment in Tuesday's debate, collaboratively and constructively with the UK Government, and is yet another example of a complete lack of respect for the devolved administrations? And doesn't she agree with me that you would think that the Scottish Conservatives would want to apologise and condemn the lack of consultation and respect if they truly wanted to see collaborative and constructive working between the 2 governments?
Cabinet Secretary.
Officer Keith Brown is absolutely right. Clearly, if the UK Government is prepared to make announcements as serious as this, with no consultation and with no notice, despite having met Scottish ministers a matter of days before, then the current arrangements for cooperation are not working. I would add to that, frankly, that the United Kingdom is not working. It is certainly not united, and it's not working for Scotland. I have written with my ministerial counterparts in the Welsh Government to Michael Gove, highlighting the weakness of the current arrangements and calling for greater collaboration across all UK nations in agreeing a pathway to net zero. I have called for a 4-nation summit on reaching net zero to be chaired by the Committee on Climate Change, and I await a response from Michael Gove in that regard.